Okay, good evening, everybody. We are now called to order. Roll call, Teresa.
Councilmember Wickenhagen.
Here.
Councilmember Matson.
Here.
Councilmember Vargas.
Here.
Councilmember Peterson.
Here.
Councilmember Bell.
Here.
Councilmember Costello.
Here.
Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
Everyone is here.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer from Pastor Jason Williams tonight. And I think we should have our outgoing council members do the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. Jackie and Suzanne.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray together. Father in heaven, we thank you for the city of Selah. We thank you for all that you have brought us through in 2021. We look forward to all that you have in store for us in this new year. As we finish the business for the city tonight, I pray that good wisdom would be displayed by all the council members. We thank you for their service. We thank you for our businesses in this community. We thank you for our schools and all of our families. We pray your blessing on each of them in this Christmas season and look forward to a grand new year in 2022. Praise your name. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Agenda changes, we have none. Public appearances, introductions, and presentations. We have Katrina Hinkle with the Downtown Association.
Good evening, everyone, Madam Mayor, council members. If you live under a rock, you may not have noticed, we had a lot of lighted things going through town over a week ago. We had our parade, it was great. There was between 30 and 40 entries. We had some just kind of show last minute, which was kind of fun. We've got our planter boxes all decorated for Christmas. I think we had that done when we talked last. We're kind of just gearing down for the end of the year. Starting in January, we'll be talking about sip and stroll and our rummage sale. So we'll be looking for items you don't want around your house so we can sell them in the rummage sale. We will be looking for participants for sip and stroll. So if anyone wants to be a location or an alcohol vendor or whatever they want to do, just have them reach out to me. We're going to start gearing up for some activities in the coming year. So is there any questions? Thank you all for your time. Have a great holiday season.
Thank you, Katrina. Getting to know our business, we have none. Communications. The city of Selah is a non-charter code city, and we are presently conducting a regular meeting between the mayor and city council. A maximum of 30 minutes will be allotted for public comments. Common sense standards and decorum apply. Comments must be respectful. No profanity or insults are allowed. Comments must pertain to the city business and official actions. Constructive criticism of the city official is allowed, but defamation, personal attacks, and impertinent assertions are not allowed. Commenters are limited to one comment per meeting and a maximum of 2 minutes. City staff may disallow or modify any comment that is deemed inappropriate. These standards are subject to revision. Teresa, we have one comment to be read tonight.
We do. This one was submitted by Paul Reel. He writes, I own a Polaris side-by-side UTV. It is licensed for on-road and off-road. I would like to see an ordinance passed to allow these vehicles legal on the roads with 35 miles per hour or less in the city limit. They are legal in other Eastern Washington cities. So I would like to see if Selah would accommodate us these same privileges. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Paul Reel.
Okay. Thank you for reading that. Written. This is in your packet. Proclamations and announcements. We have none. Consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion without discussion. Should any council member request that any item of the consent agenda be considered separately, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and become a part of the regular agenda.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to move to add item N2 to the consent agenda.
Okay. Okay, and Russ, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I would like to remove N8 and N9 from the consent agenda.
Okay.
We need a second to my motion.
Right. Okay, so council, Roger has asked that we move into the consent agenda. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, was that Suzanne? Yes, thank you. So we have a motion to remove N2 from the agenda and add it to the consent agenda. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. So N2 is added to the consent agenda. And now we have a motion by Russ.
Madam Mayor, if a council member to request something be removed from the consent agenda, it's automatically removed. No need for a second.
We don't need to vote for it. Okay, all right. So, okay, so we are adding to the consent agenda. And we are removing N8 and N9 from the consent agenda, putting it back on the agenda. Russ,
Madam Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as revised.
okay.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda as revised by Russ, a second by Jackie. All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Teresa, please read the consent agenda.
Approval of minutes, November 23rd, 2021 council meeting, approval of claims and payroll. Item N2, resolution authorizing the mayor to sign an operating grant agreement with the Washington State Department of Transportation for $16,930 in grant funds for the city's dial-a-ride service. Item number N7, resolution authorizing the mayor to sign an updated section 125 cafeteria plan. Item number N10, resolution authorizing the city administrator to sign the approved administrative offer summaries for the Valley View Avenue, South 3rd Street, Southern Avenue Improvement Project. Item O2, an ordinance amending Title 8, Section 8.70.070 of the Selah Municipal Code related to speed limits exceptions. And item O6, ordinance to repeal Selah Municipal Code chapters 12.24 and 12.26.
Is item N9 still on the consent agenda?
Yes. I'm sorry, I heard that you wanted, Russ, I thought you wanted N8 and N9 moved to the regular agenda, is that right? Okay. So then I read N7 and N10.
All right, thank you. Public hearings, Mr. Novobelsky.
Yes, Madam Mayor. As you are all aware, over the last several months, we've held numerous Zoom meetings where we've been developing our 2022 preliminary budget. As it now stands, the proposed level of spending, the appropriations are $27,971,714. This is approximately $10 million more than the current year budget for 2021, the initial budget. The main reason for that increase are capital outlay items. In the police department, the current proposed budget has a budgeted expenditure of $256,000 approximately. $210,000 of that is for the replacement of 4 vehicles. $15,600 is for body cameras for the officers, and then $30,000 would be for the purchase of long barrel rifles. In the fire department, we have $1,104,000 budgeted, of which the largest item is a ladder truck, which is currently estimated at $1,060,000. In the street fund, well, Public Works is going to replace one of their vehicles or add a vehicle, a pickup, and the cost on that is $50,000 split 1/3 between street, water, and sewer. In the street improvement fund, there are proposed projects totaling $3,328,000. The largest is for Valley View, 3rd Street and Southern. I believe that perhaps is just design cost, but I'm sure Public Works knows what's involved in that. So it's got to be construction. It can't all be design work. TIB overlay on Fremont for $375,000. Fremont sidewalk design of approximately $300,000, and a Natchez Avenue sidewalk improvement on the main street here out front of City Hall and the post office of $320,000. In the water fund, there are proposed capital projects of $688,000, and in the sewer fund, approximately $4,800,000. Personnel-wise, the police budget proposes the addition of 2 additional officers, a 3rd and 2nd class officer, and a part-time person to assist with the public records request handling that we anticipate with the introduction of these body cameras. In the fire department, they've proposed adding 1 entry-level firefighter position. On the revenue side, we've established an increase of the property tax of 1%. The good news on that is, well, due to additional construction and valuation issues, the property owner, instead of paying the current year rate of $2.55 per thousand, next year it'll be reduced to $2.33 per thousand. So hopefully, if your value did not go up too much, your taxes could conceivably go down. On the utility side, for water, sewer, and solid waste, the budgets contain a proposed rate increase of 3%. On the payroll, the current bargaining agreement that was set 3 years ago, I believe it was, proposes a 2% increase. However, I was sharing with the city administrator just before the meeting that the latest figures for the Consumer Price Index from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that through November, the U.S. city average is currently 6.8%. As a result, during these budget meetings, we've discussed the majority of the employees receiving a 3.5% increase in lieu of that proposed 2%. And I would welcome any questions. Otherwise, if you want to go to the public meeting, that'd be excellent.
Okay, so we are now going to open this up for a public meeting. We have 2 attendees. And I don't see any hands raised from them. Council, do you have any questions? Russ?
And Dale, you talked about the increase in what? Tell me what's the U.S. I didn't catch.
Yes, it on the website for the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the CPI report. The number I quoted was the U.S. city average was 6.8%. I believe what they identify as West for the West Coast was 6.6% for the last 12 months through November. Just last month, I was sharing with the city administrator. I think we were at like 5.8 or 5.9. So, yeah, this has not been a good month for the the inflation rate.
Yeah. So my question is, how do we determine that 3.5 that we're offering in lieu of? I mean, I'm not a proponent of going to 6.8 or 5.9, but what is it that we take into consideration for that 3.5%? I mean, obviously we don't want to follow that U.S. average percent per percent, but what do we determine? What makes us determine the 3.5? I guess is what I'm trying to come up with.
Well, we had discussions about this. I mean, back in August, it was 5.3, and this thing just kept jumping up and jumping up. There is, requirements to participate in the state's long-term health care, which now may be delayed, but there was that. There was just the 2% was going backwards for our employees. And we had discussions during the budget when we talked about how other departments and other cities are coaching employees and offering much higher salaries for the similar type of work. So we decided that we would like to offer this to the employees to show them support and to retain the employees that we currently have.
Yeah, and I think that's all important. I think you're on the right track, but I'm just curious what information, what do we use to come up with that? I mean, why not 3? Why not 3.25? Why not 5? Why not, you see what I'm saying? What?
Yeah.
Is it more arbitrary or?
We were splitting that in half. We looked at some of what the other job announcements around the state were posting for these jobs, and so we discussed, and I believed and I promoted that we'd go just a buzz over halfway with it.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
Well, and then, I might add that this afternoon I did evaluate on those individuals that were proposing the 3.5. It ends up with total payroll for all employees and fringe benefits of approximately $7,500,000. If instead of a 3.5, they would receive a 2%, the savings would be $62,000 on that $7,500,000. So I was kind of surprised at how small of a factor that 1.5% differential was.
Thanks, Dale.
Council, any more questions of Dale? Okay, we are now going to close the public hearing. Under general business, new business, we have none. Old business, we have none. Resolutions. N1, Mr. Wallace.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Before you is a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign task order number 2021-13 between the city of Selah and HLA Engineering and Land Survey for the Fremont Avenue resurfacing project. The city has received funding from Washington State Transportation Improvement Board for the Fremont Avenue overlay project. To remind council, that project is from 4th Street to 11th Street. And Public Works requests to proceed with the HLA task order for the professional engineering, design, and construction services. Are there any questions?
Roger,
Move to approve.
Mike, second.
it's been moved by Roger to approve, seconded by Mike. Roll call, Teresa.
Questions?
Oh, I'm sorry. Council. Is there any questions for Rocky?
Yeah, this is Kevin. What are the requirements for the TIB? We've seen in other ordinances that the TIB requires certain professional services to be employed before we do this. Does that involve this particular one, to where you have to have, say, we have to have HLA do this work up for us?
Are you asking if we have to go out and go out for engineering, or are you asking if we have to have this project engineered?
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the specifics, but we've had before. There's been requirements that the state requires that we hire or in contract with specific types of companies, and I'm just trying to figure out if this is one of those types.
No, I believe you're thinking of a federal project where you have to solicit for engineering services. And
Okay.
this is a TIB. We don't have to solicit. They are our engineers. And so we can do a task order with them. So we did not have to go out to add soliciting for engineering services.
Okay, thank you. I needed to decide where the line was. Thanks.
Yes. Mhm.
Any more questions, council? Okay, seeing none. It's been moved by Roger, seconded by Mike. Roll call, Teresa.
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Matson,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Resolution N3, Mr. Novoselski.
Yes, this resolution revises the sewer utility rate for 2022. As discussed in the public hearing, the proposed increase is 3%. For a single-family residence, that would amount to $1.42 per month. For low-income seniors and disabled, the increase would be 85 cents per month. Multi-residential is 99 cents per month per unit. And for the commercial, the differential is $1.29 on the base. And then for each additional 100 cubic feet of flow on the commercial customers, we actually bill based upon usage. It's an increase of 7 cents per 100 cubic feet. On the schools, it shows $7.53 per month, and then 21 cents per 100 cubic foot for excess flow beyond 3,600 cubic feet. And then you can see the other rates there: convenience stores, supermarkets, and restaurants. And then the Yakima Valley School has some cottages as well as the main building, and the increase there is $25.16 per month per unit. The housing units there, and then 25 cents per 100 cubic feet. Besides the rates, I made some major changes, which I forwarded to the Finance Committee, and in regards to our low income program. I've been here 25 years, and 2 years before I got here is when this program was implemented, and I've never increased the income limit. Currently, the income limit is $15,000. If you earn more than that, you don't qualify for low income. However, we've only counted 2/3 of Social Security and pension amounts. And so I noted that this consumer price index is up 86% in the last 27 years. And that I felt that it would be easier for us and the customer in understanding to remove the 2/3 provision and just to increase the income threshold, the limit. That 15,000 at 2/3 is actually 22,500. So back in 1994, council decided that a family with up to 2 occupants could earn up to 22,500, if they weren't drawing any Social Security or pension. If they were, well, then we only counted 2/3 of that Social Security and pension. So what I did was I went out to the state, and I found that in their low-income weatherization program, what their income levels were that they were allowing. Well, and then I decided more likely for the disabled than the seniors, but there might be more than 2 occupants in a household. And since the number of occupants usually has a bearing on the financial resources of the family, you'll see in the resolution on the state, they go all the way up to 20 in the household. Well, I went 4 in the household. And so using that approach, you can see on page 2 of the resolution that now instead of the 22,500 for a household size of 2, will allow 35%. Had I actually applied that CPI increase of 87%, it would have been well over the 35, but the 35 is what the state uses. And I did not want to exceed the low income threshold that have been developed and put in place by the state. But anyhow, that's a brief explanation as to the changes I've made in the low income policies. And that's all I have on the sewer resolution, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Kevin, I move to approve the resolution as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Kevin, a second by Suzanne. Council, any questions? Russ?
Dale, you talked about 22,500 as the threshold. On page 2, though, it talks about 26,000 on item 3 and 5. What am I missing on that one?
Well, Russ, the current threshold is 15,000, but we only count 2/3 of Social Security and pension. So if you factor that 15 by 2/3, we're actually allowing 22,500 currently for a household of 2 individuals. And I'm proposing that 22,500 would now be at 35.
Gotcha. And so, but the household of 1 would be at 26,000. What was that? What would that have been previously? Or that was all lumped together?
Well,
is that what
that's
you're
the
saying?
thing. Yeah, we didn't have that separated. We just set up to 2 occupants.
Okay, thank you.
Kevin?
And I don't know if you can answer this, Dale. It might go to Jeff, but I'm curious as to why there's a difference in price for a residential versus a multi-residential unit, since basically it could be a family as a family, regardless of if they're in a house or in a condo or whatever. Do you know why there's a difference there?
Yes, I'm going to refer to that as a John Tierney question. No, I just say that because, yes, I believe a former Councilman Tierney would often bring that up. And this is something from Public Works, and it's based upon, well, different factors about, I forget what they call them, EUs or equivalent units or some fancy Public Works terminology, but I'll let Mr. Henney comment on that.
We did a study and we looked at single family residents. We looked at duplex, and we looked at apartments. And throughout the apartments that we have in Selah, we determined that apartment usage is less. I can't remember whatever that percentage is less. And that's the only thing I can figure out is that when we looked at it, a lot of them were 1 and 2 occupants, a lot of times no children, no family, and just water consumption was less. So we gave them a break and we just tried to be fair about it.
Okay, thank you. I was just curious.
Sure.
Okay, seeing no other questions, we have a motion to approve N3 by Kevin, a second by Suzanne. Roll call, Teresa.
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Matson,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you. Resolution N4, Mr. Noblesky.
Yes, this resolution is to revise the solid waste or garbage rates for 2022. As discussed, the resolution contains a 3% rate increase for a 90 gallon. Well, yeah, we call them 96. I guess they like to round things. Some people refer to it as a 90, but that level of service, which is fairly common. The other option is a 60 gallon container, will go up 51 cents. For the low income customer, senior disabled, the increase would be 36 cents per month. Then people occasionally, unfortunately, have extras where their garbage lid sticks up. To me, basin disposal is extremely kind. 25 years ago when Superior another firm was here, it was amazing how many extra garbage was reported every month, and we had to bill the customers the extra. Very rarely do we ever see any extra residential charges to our customers. More likely on the commercial side where they have the dumpsters, we'll see extras there. But should they have an extra, next year it's going to cost 9 cents more per extra. On the yard waste service, it's a 6 cent per month increase. That one's kind of unbelievable. Even with the increase, it's still only $1.99 a month for yard waste service. And then 1 yard dumpsters, the monthly fee will go up $1.68 per month, yard and a half, $1.91. And you can see the other increases, and they're all figured at 3%. The overfill per yard, that's for the commercial dumpsters. That charge goes up 53 cents per extra yard. The 20-yard big drop boxes, which are behind like grocery stores or custom tile across the street, they're going up $2.88 a month. And then the 30-yard, which is more unusual service, is going up $3.51. You'll also note that I've made the same revisions. Well, no, as a matter of fact, the previous year had no language in here about low income. And I felt that was an oversight that the water and sewer rate resolution had that language in there. There was just a brief sentence about low income rate, but it didn't spell out the program. So for consistency, I went ahead and added that verbiage into the solid waste resolution. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dale. Roger,
Move to approve.
Second.
we have a motion to approve N4 from Roger, a second from Suzanne. Any discussion, council? Jackie?
Sorry, I was the second.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jackie. I thought that was Suzanne's voice. Okay, thank you. Hey, any discussion, council? All right, seeing none, roll call, Teresa?
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Mattson,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you. Resolution N5, Mr. Novoselsky.
And this is the last of the revised rate resolutions for 2022, and this is concerning water service. So as previously discussed, the resolution has been modified to reflect a 3% increase in water rates. For a 3/4 inch customer using 1,000 cubic feet of water, the monthly increase will be 74 cents on the base. Well, actually the base is 3 units. So figuring in 7 additional units for a total of 10, the increase is only 74 cents. If they use more than 10 units of water, then the additional cost is 4 cents per every 100 cubic feet over that amount. On a 1 inch service, instead of 74 cents, it's $1.02. So it's another 28 cents. And then that same 4% for any additional usage over 1,000 cubic feet. The next size meter, which is 1/4 inch or 1 1/4 inch to 1 1/2, is 13 cents more. So it's $1.15 more per month. And that 4 cent factor. 2 inch is $1.33 per month. 3 inch has an increase of $1.94. 4 inch, $2.16. And over 4, the same amount, $2.16 per month on the base of 20 units. Multiple dwelling units are increasing at 39 cents per dwelling unit or space. Senior and disabled low income are going up 34 cents per month on the base charge of 300 cubic feet, and then that same 4 cents for any usage over that. Well, up to the next 4, and then anything over 7 or over 10 is going to be at 3 cents per additional 100 cubic feet. We have what we call tank water or bulk water, and that fee for the customers, and we don't get too many customers for that, but it's only going up 6 cents per 100 gallons. So I don't think we're going to get too many objections, since I know at the local grocery store, when I fill our 5-gallon bottles, I pay 41 cents per gallon for that stuff. And the same revisions have been made in the water rate resolution for the low income program. And that's all I have on that.
Thank you. Cliff?
I'll move to approve.
Kevin, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Cliff, a second by Kevin. We have any discussion, council? Seeing none, roll call, Teresa?
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Matson,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you. N6, Mr. Wallace.
Good evening. The bid opening for the wastewater collection systems improvement was held on December 7th at 10:10 at Public Works. A total of 3 bids were received. The lowest bid was for the amount of $1,880,592.68. And that was by Belsath and Smith Construction out of Ellensburg, Washington. The amount is approximately 5% above the engineer's estimate of $1,791,013.42. The city's engineers have reviewed and checked the bid proposals of all bidders and recommend the city award a construction contract to Belsath and Smith Construction contingent on USDA approval. Earlier today, I think it was approximately 12:25, we did receive that concurrence from USDA. Just letting you know. During the design phase of another city project, it was determined that a fire hydrant should be moved. This was determined by Public Works and the city's fire chief. After examining the upcoming projects with the city's engineers, it was decided that adding the hydrant relocation to this project as a separate schedule would yield the city the best opportunity for a reasonable bid. The USDA is in concurrence and allowed the city to add an additional schedule to the bid packet. The city will be using local funds for Schedule B. And so the funding breakdown is as follows. Schedule A is $1,770,780, and that's USDA loan. $244,012.87 will be from 415 Sewer Fund. And Schedule B of $26,889.81 will be from the 411 Water Fund. So the request is a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a construction contract between the city of Selah and Belsath and Smith Construction for the wastewater collection system improvements project. Are there any questions?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve.
Thank you, Jackie.
I second.
Thank you, Mike. Council, do you have any questions from Rocky?
Madam Mayor, that was Roger Bell.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. Council Russ?
Rocky, I just had a question on where we think the differences between the engineer's estimate came in versus the bids.
It's a great question. And I'm trying not to laugh, but COVID has been a driver. But honestly, the bids for the linear feet of pipe came in at $100 a linear foot above engineer's estimate. So that was for all size of pipe. So that's mainly where it came in.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, we have a motion to approve by Jackie, a second by Roger. Roll call, Teresa?
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Matson,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you. Resolution N8, Mr. Wallace.
Thank you. The city received funding from Washington State Transportation Improvement Board for the Fremont Avenue Overlay Project. Again, the project limits are from North 4th Street to 11th Street on West Fremont Avenue. TIB is awarding a maximum of $337,162 with a city match of $37,463. The project consists of grinding and resurfacing the 2 travel lanes, crack seal and fog seal the center turn lane. Are there any questions?
Kevin, move to approve the resolution.
Jackie, second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Kevin, a second by Jackie. Is there any discussion, council? Russ?
Rocky, the reason I asked for this to be removed from the consent agenda, and I because they were the same project, I asked for N8 and N9 to be removed as well. I think one answer will suffice for both, but on fiscal impact, I believe it's a copy and paste error. But on fiscal impact, it says the city employees will continue to save payroll, fringe benefits, etc.
Russ, that was part of the edits that I provided in the email.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that was thanks for the reminder. So just for clarification, it's only that 37,463 that we talked about for both.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Thank you, Russ. Seeing no other questions, roll call, Teresa.
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Mattson,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you. And 9, Mr. Wallace.
Thank you. So with the Valley View Third and Southern STP project, the city turned in an application to TIB for a portion of that for a request of $400,000. The city has been successful and received that award amount for $400,000. And this is to fund the sidewalk portion within the federal portion of that project. So we're going to be combining funding for this project. So we're going to have $1,625,141 of STP, which is federal funds, $400,000 of TIB, which is Transportation Improvement State money, $645,000 from the sewer reserves, and then what was to be $324,759 of street funds to complete the proposed improvements is now going to be $146,875 for the city's match. Are there any questions?
Move to approve.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Ross, and I move to approve.
It was Russ, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Russ, you're kind of quiet there. Okay. We have a motion to approve by Russ. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second from Mike. Is there any discussion, council? Seeing no discussion, roll call, Teresa?
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Mattson,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Ordinances. 01, Mr. Wallace.
Thank you. This is an ordinance for the city of Selah relating to the sewer system of the city, specifying, adopting, and ordering the carrying out of a system or plan of additions to and betterments and extensions of the city's sewer system, declaring the estimated cost thereof as nearly as may be authorized, the issuance of a sewer revenue bond anticipated note. In the maximum principal amount of $2,111,000 pending the issuance of a sewer revenue bond authorized herein, creating and adopting certain funds and accounts, specifying the terms and covenants of such note, providing for delivery thereof to Banner Bank, and providing for related matters. This is one step in the USDA RD loan process. Basically, we need to pass an ordinance to get a note from Banner Bank. And then once we get the note, we will start the closing of the note process. And we're shooting for a closing of January 13th of 2022 for that closing. This will be a dry closing. And what that means is there will be no draws on the note prior to the closing. It's a lot of words. It's just one of those steps in the USDA's RD's paperwork that we must comply with. So the recommendation is to approve the attached ordinance in the form presented. This was drafted by the city's bond counsel. Are there any questions?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Russ, a second by Roger. Is there any discussion, council? Jackie?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In the October 15 letter from Banner Bank on page 2, Mr. Wallace, is the interest rate, and it states the interest rate is 2.15 fixed for the note, but if the closing on this note does not occur by December 15, well, it says interest rate is based upon today's market interest rates and is subject to change at the sole discretion of the bank if the closing on this note does not occur by December 15. Since it's not going to close until January, is there a change of interest rate?
At any time, the bank can change the interest rate. Currently, we do not foresee that happening because we are within the 90 days of the October note. I know it says in there December 15th, but we have the 90-day guarantee from the bank. But at any time in their letter, they can change the interest rate at any time. So as of right now, it's 2.15%.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roger?
A question for Attorney Rob Case. I know personally one of the signers from Banner Bank, and just wanted to clarify that that makes no difference on my judgment on this at all, but want to clarify if I'm okay to vote on this motion.
Thank you. Thank you for noting that pre-existing relationship. I do not believe it prohibits you from fully participating.
Thank you.
Council, any more questions? Seeing none. Teresa, we have a vote to approve by Russ, a second by Roger. Do roll call, please.
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Mattson,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
03, Mr. Novobelsky.
Yes, what you have before you is the final budget adjustment of 2021. And I was surprised that it only involved a couple of funds. Our general fund had the most adjustment. However, it's a favorable adjustment due to the incredible sales tax receipts that we enjoyed this year. The other fund is the Civic Center, And well, first let's talk about the general fund. In the legislative department, we did have money budgeted for Zoom meetings. However, based upon this stretched out ongoing pandemic type issues, those costs have amounted more to what we had originally estimated. So I've increased that by $3,000. In the court department, they were fortunate to receive some CARES grant funding for personal protective equipment in the amount of $2,489. In the executive department, I've increased that claims and damages by $100,000 based upon the settlement with our previous city administrator. In the facilities area, which is where the state auditor wants us to put these grant programs, ARPA stands for American Rescue Plan Act money. We were surprised about mid-year or just before the mid-year by notification from the Washington State Department of Commerce that we were going to be receiving $1,129,838 this year, as well as a similar payment next year. In the current proposed 2022 budget, $1,200,000 of this ARPA money is budgeted for these infrastructure projects for sewer improvements. In the police department, we had an increase in overtime comp time pay, as well as inmate housing costs. In the code and building department, the building permit activity was, significantly more on the revenue side, was 80,000 more. And on the expenditure side for plan reviews, I increased that by only $10,000. In the recreation department, their soccer program took off, and I've increased revenues and expenditures for it. And then in our non-departmental is that 500,000 increase where our sales taxes came in over actual. It was primarily due to construction. The school district was a big part of that. However, it's amazing how much online transactions with Amazon type sales tax revenue. I guess shame on me, I shouldn't mention people that give us sales tax, but anyhow, some of these online services, and then local merchants, some of our local stores were very busy in the current year, 2021. And then the last is the Civic Center, where, as you might recall, on the west wall of the building, I think it was during Selah Community Days or Hot Rods on First Street or the car show, that we had a misfortune where some individual had a vehicle back there that took off on him and ran through the wall. We're in the process of attempting to collect from that individual. However, in the meantime, I think it would be best to cover those costs out of our Civic Center Capital Projects Fund. And that's all I have for the budget adjustment.
Thank you. Roger?
Move to approve the ordinance.
Second.
Thank you, Cliff. Council, we have a motion to approved by Roger, a second by Cliff. Is there any discussion? Russ?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. One of my thoughts, my questions, and the items that we had discussed at budget meetings was on the police budget. We talked about a few cost-saving alternatives. One of them was removing the detective's car, and it appears that that's been done. The other item discussed was removing the purchase of 2 police admin cars. And I think I would still be in support of removing those from the budget. I believe that we can make do with what we have for at least another year. So I would make a motion a sub motion to also remove the 2 police admin cars from the police capital budget.
Madam Mayor, point of order. The ordinance is on the 2021 budget, not the 2022 budget.
Excuse me. Thank you, Kevin. Disregard all my questions and save that.
Okay, you can black your picture out now, okay? Okay, is there any more discussion? So, Teresa, we have a motion to approve by Roger, a second by Cliff. Roll call.
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Matson,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you. 04, Mr. Noblesky.
Well, actually, I believe we're going to do 05 first.
Oh, okay.
Dale, that was part of the edits also.
Yeah.
The
I'm
base
sorry.
salary and wage schedule is now listed as number 4.
Okay. So 04, I take it, is the 2022 base salary ordinance, which establishes our pay rates for our unrepresented employees for next year. As discussed in the public hearing on the 2022 budget, the majority of the employees are currently in this ordinance receiving a 3.5% increase. There are some other changes based upon direction from management. And well, at the fire department, they did conduct some extensive salary comparisons with other entities, which were presented as a part of our budget meetings as well. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Thank you.
I move to approve.
Kevin, I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Russ, a second by Kevin. Is there any discussion, council? Seeing none, roll call, Teresa?
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Matson,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you. 05, Mr. Noblesky.
Yes, and what we have here is the ordinance that will adopt the budget for 2022, currently established at slightly under $28 million. And I think I've covered the details sufficiently, so I'm going to leave it at that.
Thank
Madam
you.
Mayor, motion to approve?
Thank you, Jackie. Cliff, you second it?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Jackie, a second by Cliff. Any discussion, council? Yeah, Russ?
Kevin, correct me, but I think this is the right time. For the record, I have young children and I don't sleep much. I would like to make a sub motion as I mentioned previously on the 2 police admin cars to be removed from the budget. After discussions during budget meetings, there was discussion that these 2 vehicles could be made to work. I believe there may be some costs that would go towards that, keeping them in good condition. So I would be open to some repair costs if that's necessary, but my sub motion is to remove the 2 police admin cars from the budget.
Okay, council, do we have a second on Russ's sub-motion?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve by Russ, by Jackie, a second by Cliff. And we have a sub-motion to that motion.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
we're just doing the sub right now.
okay, okay. So we have a motion, we have a sub-motion to remove the admin cars by Russ, a second by Suzanne. Is there any discussion on that? Roger?
I noted this when it first came out and had a couple of discussions about why we would add that. There was also the long rifles that were added to buy all of them, and one other item on that also. But for the police budget, and we have the money in the reserves that would cover those costs right now and save us that expense of repairing the two vehicles anyway in that case, and relieve us of liability potential of officers having their own rifle shared or anything. So to go forth on both of those, I would be opposed to this sub-motion that it seems like it's throwing money down the drain when we already have it in reserves that we could withdraw and not hurt our police budget for the next year.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Council, any more discussion on this sub-motion? Suzanne?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. May we hear Chief Chrisman's thoughts on the matter?
Chief Chrisman?
Sure. Thank you. We discussed this at some length during the budget discussions, but the two cars that are in question right now are both approaching 130,000 miles. For instance, one of those cars is my car. The drive in the transmission works and the reverse works. The other shift settings don't. And I said in the budget discussions that I don't really need to get anywhere fast. It's not like I need a pursuit rated vehicle, but I do need something relatively reliable. The problem, and I think Mr. Carlson said it well, is that we would be putting a significant amount of money into it next year to keep it afloat. The same thing with the other admin vehicle. Obviously, my car is going to need a transmission. It's going to need suspension and shocks. And I don't have a good hard number to give you right now, but I would. We are experiencing a transmission problem in one of the patrol cars as of today. And I think it's going to cost about $1,800 for that transmission, and that's in a sedan. So my car being a utility vehicle is going to be more than that. So just give you a rough idea. We're gonna put some money into those two vehicles to keep them afloat next year.
Thank you, Kevin.
Can I get a refresher from Dale on, because in the initial conversation that we talked about these, it was new money in a new capital cost. So is the money not now a new ask, but it's going to actually call from reserves? Is that how this is? There was a follow-up, and that's what I want to get clarification on.
Okay, well, I'm not sure I understand the question, Kevin. On my one worksheet from the earlier preliminary budget, on page 46, the capital outlay only went up $35,000, $34,932. I believe, yeah, earlier we had not planned to transfer all of this capital money out of the 170 equipment reserve. I was only going to transfer the two patrol, or I think it was the two admin cars. I think originally it was one patrol car and two police admin cars. And I was going to transfer money for the two admin cars. And then subsequently, when individuals became aware that the Fund 170 had adequate funds set aside for police, then I was given direction to make a larger contribution out of the reserve fund to cover these capital items.
Thank you. That answers my question.
Any more discussion, Russ?
Oh, one of my, to add on to my comments earlier, one of my concerns is that the cost of vehicles right now is so extremely high. It has accelerated to a point where you can sell a car, many people can sell a car for more than they paid for it. So my opinion is that now is not the right time to be buying cars if we can manage without doing so. And as an added piece of information that, like I said, Chief Chrisman just mentioned, we now have another vehicle that's having troubles. So I would rather make do with these rigs now and keep that money in the reserves for when we do need another patrol car, and then make these work, and then wait till a time when the inflation isn't as high on purchasing vehicles.
Chief Chrisman, do you have your hand up?
I do. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to add to this discussion that some of the dialogue that we had during the budget discussion is that the admin cars don't have to be pursuit rated, meaning, and I offered this to those who were in that session or those sessions, that we could even purchase used vehicles that were, 1 to 2 years old, less than 15,000 miles. It's not like we are fully outfitting a patrol car for admin. The other thing that I was asked to do by council, and I have that's already underway, is to look at a governmental leasing program for the patrol cars and the admin cars. And so that's something that I'd be able to bring back to you as soon as I get those bids back from the companies who do that.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, do we have any more discussion on the sub motion? Suzanne?
Yeah, just a follow-up question to what Chief Chrisman was just saying about the rental. Would we then, regardless, or if this is passed and the funds are appropriated to purchase, would we delay then until the results of the renting agreement came back to us?
Yeah, I believe that's the case, council member. I've asked for an expedited estimate on that. I think it was what council wanted, that information. And so as soon as I get that, I'd be able to provide that to you before any purchase was made. I just haven't seen that yet. So that, and just maybe because you weren't a part of that, I mean, these leased vehicles are on a 5 or 6 year lease. There's some flexibility on it. And then at the end of that lease, the car goes back to the provider, and they actually resale the vehicle. The money goes into an account, and that money goes into an escrow account for us to rebuild or replace that leased vehicle. A lot of police departments are going that way on leased vehicles instead of purchasing them and running them for many, many years over their real life. So it's something I think is very reasonable to look at. And as I said, the council members who were in those budget discussions wanted to see those numbers.
Hey, council, any more discussion on the sub-motion? Okay, we have a sub-motion to delete the admin cars by Russ, a second by Suzanne. Roll call, Teresa?
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
No.
Councilmember Mattson,
No,
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
No.
Councilmember Bell,
No.
Councilmember Costello,
No.
Councilmember Carlson.
Yes.
We have 5 no votes and 2 yes. Motion passes. I'm sorry, motion fails.
Thank you. Okay. On the first vote, we had a motion to approve by Jackie, a second by Cliff. Do we have any discussion on that? Okay, seeing none. Roll call, Teresa?
Councilmember Wickenhagen,
Yes.
Councilmember Mattson,
yes,
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Councilmember Bell,
Yes.
Councilmember Costello,
Yes.
Councilmember Carlson,
Yes.
unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you, council. Public appearances, we have none. Reports and announcements. Chief Lane.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, let me start by saying thank you for your hard work and your participation in the budget process. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you for your vote of approval tonight. And I say that with sincere thank you, because about an hour before this meeting started, I was actually on the phone with our rep about that piece of apparatus, and we're looking at a 10% cost increase if we could not get that locked in here real soon. And on $1 million fire truck, you can do the math. So thank you very much. We couldn't absorb that. Very much appreciated. Over here at the fire department, you've heard me say it before, our call volume is up significantly this year. We'll have a record year. I don't dare guess at what the ending total will be, because that's a jinx on us, but we're up significantly. Update on our hiring list process. We started with, Teresa, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had 16 applicants. We have done the written test process. We've gone through the physical part of the process, and we are now down to 4 after dropouts and unsuccessful tests. We are continuing that process. This Thursday, we have what we call an assessment center. There'll be 4 scenarios. We're looking forward to that, and hopefully there'll be some good results, and I'll keep you updated on that process. Also this week, by the end of the week, we have an assistance to firefighter grant that's due. So Deputy Chief Gilly has been working hard on that, trying to get that in. We're looking for replacing extrication equipment at the fire department. Tomorrow we have a graduation for the 2020 year recruits, 2021 year recruits, excuse me. And then I wanted to update you that we have acquired funding from the county for to replace all the AEDs in the department out of some reserve money that the Fire District 2 had, and they've graciously offered to replace all of our AEDs, as we've been unsuccessful in getting grant money for that. So all good news. Thanks again. I really appreciate it, all your hard work. Is there any questions for me? Thank you, council.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Chrisman.
Madam Mayor, Council, thank you for your work on the budget. It means a lot to our staff, means a lot to me, and I appreciate the hard work that you put into that. I know you put a lot of time in on your own, and it didn't go unnoticed. I wanted to echo what Katrina started off with parade. This was my first Selah parade, and I was pleasantly surprised. got a phone call from someone who said that he was early in the organizational phase of this parade many years ago and thought that it was the largest group of people that he had ever seen at the parade. I don't have anything to measure to, but those of you who've been around for a while may in fact know. It just seemed like a great night. People were having a good time, and I really enjoyed it myself. Wanted you to know that last Saturday, we did a shop with a cop program with some surrounding police departments, young kids who didn't have resources available to them, and through the generous donation of people and merchants, we got some gift cards to Walmart, and they were allowed to shop for themselves and their family. And so we had an officer there who escorted a young group through there and helped them pick things out for their family. It was a great time. We're going to try to bring that directly to Selah next year and identify some more kids in our own neighborhood that we can help out. Our newest hire is in the Basic Law Enforcement Academy right now, and he is slated to graduate in March of 2022. It seems like a long ways away, but talked to his TAC officer today, and he's doing very well, and we're happy with his progress as well. And for me, I think that's a wrap. I wish you guys the happiest of holidays, and I'll see you next year if I don't see you before then.
Oh, you'll see us before then. Yay. Thanks, Chief. How about Mr. Peters?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So usually this time of year, I come on here and I say the planning department's wrapping everything up, and we're kind of slowing down and trying to get ready for the next year. But it's been quite an unusual start to the cold weather or lack thereof. And so we've been very busy with building permits. We've issued at least, I would say, about 8 to 10 dwelling units over the last month or so. And we are continuing to do inspections from everything from roofs to footing and foundations, people trying to beat the weather. Also, we're continuing to work with the school on the John Campbell's property. We're hoping to get together with some of their contractors, Jeff Fortner, myself, our fire chief, and Rocky Wallace, our public works director, to put together a memorandum of understanding with regard to the construction entrance. And the school is wanting to open that facility up right after the holidays and the kids go back to school. So we're trying to make it as little impact onto our existing city streets as we possibly can, and still allow the contractors to work. So hopefully we'll be wrapping that plan up here in the next either later on this week or first part of next week. We, on the planning commission side of things, we wrapped up our last meeting in November, and I'm sorry to report that one of our commission members, Samantha, is no longer able to be on the commission. Is moving out of the area, and so we will in the new year need to be looking for a new planning commission member. But for right now, we don't have a need to convene, so we're so to speak good to go until next year. Also, we've been Public Works has been super busy and with a lot of different projects, and we've all been working together to review any new projects coming in, new development applications, and such like that. So other than that, that's all I have to report. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, unless there's any questions.
Looks like you're good to go. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Mr. Wallace.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to reiterate the chiefs and everyone's comments on, thank you so much for your hard work on the budget. For my first experience with this council and staff, it was very nice for me. So thank you very much. I want to thank my public works staff. I want to thank City Hall staff. As everyone knows, we had an incident on Friday that caused us to have a bottled boil water advisory put out by the city, and the dedication and professionalism that my staff showed during this event went above and beyond. We had staff members that were on personal time or leave. They called up, said, what can we do? And we just said, get here. And it was all hands on deck. So I really appreciate my staff's dedication to this issue and getting it resolved. To update you on the upcoming construction season, we'll call it. We have a few projects, so I'm just going to run through when they're going to start and when they're projected to end. The wastewater collection system improvement is going to begin in March and then approximately end in August. The Natchez Avenue sidewalk, we're projecting to start construction in April and then complete that in June. The Fremont Avenue sidewalk is going to be in June, the day after school is out, so that we don't have any issues with buses and parents trying to get around that corner. And that should be completed approximately July 14th-ish. The Crusher Canyon Sewer Project, we're projecting to go to construction in July and then end at the end of October. Currently, we are in the right-of-way phase for the Valley View Third and Southern project. The timeline on the right-of-way phase is anywhere from 6 to 9 months. So hopefully by June, July, we've got the right-of-way wrapped up. Are there any questions? Or would City Administrator Haney like to comment on the water?
I would have a comment. I talked earlier with the city administrator about it today, but I think it's worth a conversation on how we go in the future as far as notification. No criticism involved in how we handled this, because I think it was handled, like you termed, Rocky, very professional, and by dedicated employees to get the issue resolved with the water. But I think it is worth a conversation to say we need a better system of notifying residents when an issue like this might come up in the future, whether it's water or some other issue that's a health hazard to our citizens. I think we owe it to them to at least notify, other than just social media or newspaper or TV radio stations running something about it. So, and I know we did a lot more than that, but it was not communicated in the best way possible. I think there are better ways to do that. So maybe at our January, February planning meeting, we can discuss that further on what's a good communications plan going forward.
And you're right, Roger. We have had comments, and we've been asked by Department of Emergency Management out of Yakima to assess how it went and how the notification process went. There was a lot of things that people don't realize when it comes to these boil water notices and how long samples take to get back. It takes 24 hours to get a sample back. And so for us, it's a long time. It's a long wait for us. But for the community, it's a long wait for them as well. And so I understand, and I agree. The city and the county and DOH did a wonderful job getting out the notices that we could. It's very important that all of the accounts in the city have a correct phone number so that when the text message goes out during these situations, people do get that notice. But yeah, I would love to sit down and find out if we can improve or what ways we can improve this notification to the community.
I think Chief Lang has something to add to this.
Thank you, Mayor. And I won't speak for Teresa, correct me if I'm wrong, but this was brought up and we discussed this, and through the Department of Emergency Management, there is a link that citizens and businesses can go to, and I don't know if it's shared on the website yet. I did not look. But it's a self setup. You click on there, you put in your name and your phone number, and everybody can be notified through the Everbridge system through Department of Emergency Management. And so I would encourage everybody in our city, in our surrounding area, to get on there, and you can get it text message or voicemail, however you choose to do it. And that will reach the most people in the quickest way possible. And the Department of Emergency Management can actually set up a geofence for addresses or for people and just notify people in those areas. It's the same thing we use for wildland fires and that kind of thing. So I'd highly encourage our public to get on there and sign up for it. And then that would really help Rocky and everybody else when we need to notify people. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Kevin?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Have we ever, or can we put out a link to that on our notifications or our billings? Or
Can I just, Kevin, I can answer that. So the Yakima Health District sent out an Everbridge email and a text. They did use those for anybody who has signed up on that. So those messages were sent out. They weren't sent out by us because they were being, but we have that, and I can put the link on the website, and I will do that. But those emails and messages and geofence texts were all sources that were used.
Right, that's how I received it. What I'm asking is, can we put that on something besides just the website? Can we put that on correspondence or billings, the utility billings, or anything else, so that people can go to that to sign up? Just for the people who aren't on the internet very much.
We could do a mailer maybe.
Kevin, we've also, the fire department has plans tomorrow to share it on our Facebook page also. So that's another way we can get it out there.
I'm just concerned of those who aren't on the community, that's not on social media and out on the internet very often, seeing that displayed somewhere else. Because it's an exceptional program and application, and I was actually on the committee that reviewed the product. So anyway, if we can get it out so people are aware that it's actually out there.
All right, thanks, Kevin. We're working on some other things to get out to the community. So that will be one of our topics. Joe Kinney, would you like to speak?
I'm just going to say Roger hit most of them, but we received our notification from the laboratories on Friday morning about the E. coli being present. We had some tests done on Monday. They came back late, almost 5 o'clock on Tuesday, Wednesday, and they said that this one particular house came back with a unsatisfactory. It was coliform present, but not E. coli present. So when we get that, then we're required to do some additional testing. So we went 3 houses down and pulled a sample, and back to the original house, and 3 houses to the east and pulled a sample. The house to the west came back satisfactory. The house originally was tested, went from coliform present to E. coli present. And then the house that was on the east went to tested back as a coli present. So then, and that was, we got those back Friday, like Rocky was saying, it's 24 hours when you send them in. They have to incubate these things and let them try to grow a culture if there's anything to grow. So we got it Friday morning, and we started sending out notices. We had them out Friday afternoon. You know, we don't have a voice or no, I'm drawing a blank, whatever that thing is everybody goes to web on your phone. Anyway, so we contacted the Downtown Association. They put it on their what is that thing, Teresa?
Website?
Facebook. Okay, I don't do Facebook, so I ignore everything. And so anyway, so then they put it out around noon, and they were an hour or 2 hours ahead of us. We waited for the health department to send us the notice. They had them drafted and sent them to us, but once we got confirmation, we have to send it to the Department of Health. Department of Health has to then contact the local health district. And we had a meeting, I think Friday at like 1 o'clock with these folks, a Zoom meeting. And they were told them to go ahead and issue the order. So we put that on the web page. A copy was sent to the Herald. Copy was sent to KNDO and KIMA. And so this stuff was put out by Friday afternoon. So it wasn't that long after we got confirmation. And so in the meantime, we took another 16 tests, most of them in the down pressure zone 1, which is the lower section here. And then we took additional tests, all the other zones. The Department of Health wanted us to test these other zones to ensure that there wasn't any E. coli present in those upper areas. So we got these tests back. Well, first of all, we couldn't get them all to this one lab in time, so we had to break them up. I think we had 13 for our usual lab, and we took another 3 to a second lab. And we got them in later. They allowed us to bring them in later. So Saturday, we started getting tests back, and we were showing that these 16 areas came back satisfactory. So they required us to take another 5 samples, and we took those Saturday, and those were around the area of concern, which is south of Southern. We took, so the boil order or advisory was lifted Saturday afternoon, late Saturday. Meanwhile, the health district contacted every restaurant and the school district and had discussions with them Friday as well. So then they made another contact with these same folks and told them that the boil water advisory was lifted, and they lifted it all except for the area of the neighborhood south of Southern where this thing started. So we took 5 additional samples Saturday and sent them into the lab. We got them back Sunday afternoon, and they all came back clean, even the 2 homes that we tested. And so then that's when we got to lift the rest of the town. And what I heard from the lab, you know, we don't know how these tests came back negative or positive like that. And the lab made the comment that when they've done these tests or had these samples come in and there was problems with other communities around, they've never seen a city being able to turn around and get a clean bill of health for everything within this short amount of time that we did. So they don't know. They don't know whether there was a boo-boo with the original testing or the sampling. But anyway, we turned that around in record time. And like I say, we put everything on the web page. We put it into the Downtown Association. Thank you for their help with that. And they contacted the restaurants in the school district. Like I say, it was on the web page, KIMA, KNDO, and Yakima Herald. I talked with Don Myers several times on that. And like I say, oh, and then the Office of Emergency Management sent out those alerts to everybody that was in the Selah area. And I even got one on my cell phone, and obviously I'm I'm just outside the city limits about a quarter mile, but I got one too. So I don't know. It's close, but they included a large area. So everybody got a text alert. And I suppose we'll have to talk a little bit more. We had what they call a closure meeting or something like that Monday again. And we went over some ideas about how to try to get additional information out. But the health district, like I say, we had another Zoom meeting with them Saturday
Yes.
afternoon, and people from the Spokane Department of Health, people from the Yakima County Health District, and people from Yakima Emergency Management all attended the Zoom meeting, and they were very helpful. And you know, they get charged with writing these advisories, and they get charged with lifting these advisories, and they all showed up. And you know, not one person grumbled about, "Ooh, you're going to be on a Saturday." They just showed up and attended these meetings, and were very positive and supportive. So, you know, I like I say, I agree with what Rocky was saying about the guy. We had guys that were off and guys on vacation, and Ty called them up and asked them to come in, and they showed up. They just, you know, came in and did what they had to do. Yeah, it was unfortunate. I know Teresa emailed you folks too. I'm not sure how many guys got on with this. What is it? Extra line of authentication for your cell phones or whatnot, or your emails. So I'm not sure how many fell through the crack there. I mean, there was a good effort done. And this fella that wrote this email to you folks, you know, I understand that they're concerned. We had a lot of people call that were concerned, and they were getting their information first from Downtown Association, and they didn't think that that was right. But the city doesn't have a whatever that thing was again, Facebook. So we couldn't put it out on that. That's why we got hold of Katrina and asked her to put it on her system. So, I mean, we really made an effort. I don't, and that's all I got to say.
I would like to add one more thing. When we notified DOH Office of Drinking Water on Friday morning about 8:30, we had a representative from there in town at 3:15, and we began our special purpose investigation. So that was done on Friday as well. So they had somebody from Spokane show up here and assist us on Friday.
I guess I got a couple more things. We also called like Treetop first thing in the morning after we got our notification, and then they have Facebook, and it got out from there, and people were learning of that. Yeah. So like I say, it's a 24-hour test, and we followed the state guidelines and the procedures, but you got to get these tests, and you have to give them the full 24 hours, because if you try to push it, or try to get the labs to push it, and then they wind up not being accurate, you're just going to have more PR problems and more people doubting everything. So we just had to follow the procedures. Now I'm done.
Thank you. Russ?
I just had some additional comments on what's been said from Kevin and Roger and Joe and Rocky. First of all, Rocky, it's nice in your first, 3 months to be able to experience this as the Public Works Director. Well, welcome to Selah.
Thank you.
I would, I don't think there's any question from the council about the efforts put forth by everybody to get resolution. I do share Kevin's concern about those folks who may not be on social media, those folks who may not be watching the news, and one contact that was made to me was out of concern for someone we all know, Norma Smith. How do we notify someone like Norma Smith? And there's many others, but I think that's a real concern. I think that's a valid item to be discussed. My recommendation, and I know there's going to be plenty of recommendations, but my recommendation is pushing what Jim mentioned, getting people signed up, and if there's a need to canvass, I mean, there's city council members and other people who are supposed to be in contact with their constituents. So I would say that if there's a group that needs to go out, canvass, and share that and get people signed up, I would say that it would fall, one of our responsibilities would be to join up on a group like that, to canvass, knock doors, and give that information out, so that in the future there's no question.
We can certainly do that, and we can also talk with emergency management and see if they can produce, I don't know, a list, or maybe they have an idea of if they have some dead spots around town, or if they have a percentage they think is covered. Yeah, no, we can do some more discussions with those folks. Also, I looked over Teresa. She attended these meetings as well, and she was the one that put all the announcements out and pulled the announcements. And so, yeah, she was in too and taught Saturday, Sunday. So it was a big team effort, and I think it actually came out pretty good. Came out real good.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Novobelsky.
I think he dropped out.
Did he drop out?
Yeah, I don't see him.
I don't see him either. Okay. Mr. Henny.
Me again? I think I said enough, except that.
Okay, Mr. Case.
No, real quick, tonight's package, the packet, you see, and I know we had to hustle up because obviously this is our last meeting of the year, but there was a lot of work going on to get this done. And Teresa was trying to put the package together, and she was trying to cover all the notifications and meetings on this stuff. But yeah, there was a lot of work, a lot of AIS got put together, both from Dale and both from Rocky. And so anyway, I want to thank them and their diligence, and just wish everybody a happy holidays, and we'll look forward to next year.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Case.
I have no public report.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson.
Well, I thought it was interesting that we've had staff thanking the council. I would really like to thank the Dale and all of the staff of helping us get through the budget and putting it together and explaining it to us so we can understand it. And not to basically echo everybody's appreciation of how Public Works and everybody handled the water situation, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and thank Suzanne and Jackie for their service. That's all I have.
Thank you, Cliff. Mike.
I also want to thank Jackie and Suzanne for their service to the council, and I know they're going to be missed. And just want to say thank you to the staff and all the people that were working over the weekend during the water crisis situation. I found out, and I wasn't even home, and I found out and called in, and everybody was working diligently on it. So I appreciate that. And other than that, no other report.
Thank you. Suzanne.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. I appreciated my time as a council member, working alongside all of you, and I just wish you guys all the best going forward.
Thank you, Suzanne. Roger.
Yes, I too want to thank the entire staff. We've gone through a lot of stuff this past year. It's been challenging on many fronts, and I have experienced only high professionalism from those on staff currently. to move us forward and getting through this crisis of the water, getting through a major change to our budget, all of that. There are so many people involved in that. And thank you very much for your hard work and dedication to that. And I'd say good luck to Suzanne and Jackie. It's been very enlightening to hear your views on many of the issues as we've gone through. So thank you for serving on the council. Yeah, happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you, Roger. Jackie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I attended the WYCOG General Membership Meeting last Wednesday, and the program was Yakima Valley Partners Habitat for Humanity, Melanie Rosen, and she gave a very good overview of what they do, Habitat for Humanity does, and what they do for the community. It was a very interesting meeting. I would like to echo all our fellow council members in the thanking for the city's hard work with the water issue, and then also the hard work on the budget. And I want to thank each of you. I have had a wonderful experience being on the council the last 4 years, getting to know each of you and staff, and I learned a lot about the city. So it has been a great experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Kevin.
Just want to thank Jackie and Suzanne for their service, for their insight into all the interesting issues we've had to face. Thanks staff for this last week and this water thing. I also wanted to point out the issue that came up, that we upped the amounts for the senior citizens and the disabled citizens on all the rates. That isn't something anyone asked for. It was just something that was found, and I think that is a service that just a great public servant does. So that was fantastic, and just wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Kevin. I kind of went backwards there. I took Joe and Rob, so you guys don't have to talk anymore. I just would, Russ, you've talked so much. I forgot you, Russ.
I did kind of chime in on the water issue, so I'll forgive you, Mayor. No, thank you. First of all, Merry Christmas to everyone. I'm grateful for this city, for the staff. I know that issues with this water and issues with whatever comes up, I know that our staff works incredibly hard and doesn't get a lot of thanks. You know, the sanding of the streets to make sure the roads are safe, and our police officers and fire and public. I mean, everybody. I just don't think the city staff gets the recognition from the community for keeping things afloat, and I'm grateful for that, for all the staff. Grateful for Jackie, for Suzanne, for your insights. Some very good conversations over the years, and I think I would encourage those conversations even as you're not on council. I think you both have very, very valid and very good insights, and I would highly encourage it. So there's been comments about the Katrina with the SDA and notifications, and I just would like to point out to the community and how valuable it is to have good partners like the SDA, like the Chamber, and other organizations who while the staff is handling the issue, instead of spending time, going on to social media and posting, "Hey, everyone, be careful," they can make one call and get those notifications out. I think those partnerships are very valuable, and so I'm grateful for the SDA and for the Chamber and for anyone else who helps spread that word, whether by mouth or via social media. That's all I got.
Thank you. Sorry, I forgot you. I just want to thank city staff for the way the water issue was handled. I was out of town and my phone started blowing up about 5:15. And of course, I felt really guilty. But, I look on here and see the professionalism that was done by staff, and hearing the exit Zoom meeting we had with Office of Emergency Management and the Health Department, and knowing that the city staff that was here, they handled it very well. The Health Department were very pleased with the way things went, and I'm just glad that they took care of it as well as they did, which I can't find any fault with it. I would also like to thank the city crew for taking care of the graffiti that was done in Wixom Park last night. They pretty much took care of the first shelter as you go into the park. The inside of it was graffitied, painted up, the top, the outside, the inside, and it has all been erased. It's gone. So it's one of those things, that we need to get out. If you see something, say something. The graffiti is something that we don't want in our city. To Suzanne and Jackie, thank you for your service on council, for being a part of the past few years, and especially for being a part of the last year and a half. We've gone through some pretty rocky waters, and a big thank you to all of the council for being there, for supporting me, and just being involved in everything that was happening. At a mayor's meeting last month, one of the mayors was saying that we've gone through some difficult times. And another mayor from another city said, we've gone through some difficult times, but what other council or mayors can say that we've survived this pandemic? So I guess we should all be proud that we're all still here, and we can all smile and look back on it and say we handled it the best that we can. So Jackie and Suzanne, thank you very much. There's a lot going on in our city, and I hope to still see you be involved. Watch your emails, because I'm sure at this moment, Katrina's mind is going like this, trying to find things for you guys to do. And I'm sure she will be contacting you. So come into the office and pick up your apples. And when you turn in your keys, and we will be welcoming Jared Iverson and Elizabeth Marcus, the first meeting in January that we have. So everybody have a great holiday. Enjoy your families. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Thank you, Jackie. We have a second?
Second.
Of course. Motion to adjourn by Jackie, second by Suzanne. All those in favor? Opposed? We are now adjourned. Thank you.